All right, so today's lesson from the text of A Course in Miracles. This is the beginning of chapter 2 and in the text, and it is called The Separation and the Atonement. And there are several sections in this one, and today I'm going to go over section 1. Chapter 2, section 1. I don't know, it's like chapter 2, chapter 1, I don't know. Anyway, it's called The Origins of Separation, and this section just absolutely blew my mind because there were things in it that I had never considered, and I love when that happens. I love when there's like, and I hope you enjoy the mirror in the background so you get to see me in multiple angles. This lesson is so cool. It starts out discussing a really different belief than most of Christianity holds. Most of Christianity, or a lot of the evangelical churches or the Protestant denominations kind of, and maybe it's a thing that came from Martin Luther. I don't know. I'm not a theologian in that sense, and I'm not a historian, so I can't tell you where it came from, but there's this notion that because Adam fell, that we have original sin and that we all are born as sinners and we need to overcome this chasm between us and God. And so this very first paragraph of this section presents an alternate idea. And this was the one that I was actually raised on in my upbringing. And I tend to lean toward this one. I actually prefer it because I think it's much more advancing as far as who I am and the point of this life. And so I'm just going to read a little bit of section 1 of the first paragraph. To extend is a fundamental aspect of God, which he gave to his Son. In the creation, God extended himself to his creations and imbued them with the same loving will to create. You have not only been fully created, but you have also been created perfect. And that is a notion that a lot of Christendom does not believe, but I think it's a nice idea to consider this. And let's go on, I'll tell you why. There is no emptiness in you. Because of your likeness to your Creator, you are creative. No child of God can lose this ability because it is inherent in what he is, but he can use it inappropriately by projecting. The inappropriate use of extension or projection occurs when you believe that some emptiness or lack exists in you, and that you can fill it with your own ideas instead of truth. This process involves the following steps. First, you believe that what God created can be changed by your own mind. Second, you believe that what is perfect can be rendered imperfect or lacking. And third, you believe that you can distort the creations of God, including yourself. Fourth, you believe that you can create yourself and that the direction of your own creation is up to you. I think this is a nice idea because the alternate idea leaves a lot of people stuck in what I call damnation. And the reason I believe this is because when I think of the people who believe that they are inherently sinful, their confidence is forever shaken. I'm thinking of the people who really struggle with addictions, and in particularly the people who go to meetings where they reaffirm what a terrible sinner they are and reaffirm over and over and over and over again to the point of sincere sickness that they are sinners, that they are never going to amount to anything, that it is only Jesus that can save them. And while, yes, Jesus is the point of this, I'm not saying he's not. That mindset is what keeps them stuck in their addiction. And whenever they are faced with their temptation, whether it's drugs or any kind of other addiction, we think of drugs because that's the easiest tangible one to touch, but pornography or sex addiction or abuse, addiction to drama, addiction to screens, whatever the thing may be, if you inherently think you're bad, you're just attracting more bad. And so the mountain forever feels huge to have to cross. And the fact that you have this misbelief or this belief that you're bad or evil forever separates you. But if you take a moment to stop and imagine, wait a minute, I am God's loving creation and I have been created perfect. It already crosses out that great chasm that you need to cross forever in your life and that you're forever separated. No, it brings you perfect back into his presence. And so you can begin to live this life from a place of I am present with God and God is present with me. He's literally there on the other side of the door and he just asks us to knock. So the difference here is that this new idea, we are with God, And the previous one is we need to project ourselves across this chasm or wait for God to come to us, which forever creates a need for addiction or something to fill in that chasm, which is why people sometimes turn to the addiction, the thing. And then there was, that wasn't even my favorite part. This might be a long video today. And so in paragraph 2, there's a section that says, extension as undertaken by God is similar to the inner radiance that the children of the Father inherit from him. Its real source is internal. And this creates the notion that really we do have divine life in us. We do have the breath in life. How do we live if not by God's breath? If you have God's breath in you, where does his breath come from? Is his breath not divine already? And so the fact that you're living and breathing means you have God in you. It doesn't mean you are God, although some people might like to phrase it that way. And who knows? I don't know. I'm careful with saying that, but we absolutely have God within us. And I just think that's incredible. So the next section, this part was like, okay. So let me read this, section 3. The Garden of Eden, or the pre-separation condition, was a state of mind in which nothing was needed, right? When Adam listened to the lies of the serpent, all he heard was untruth. You do not have to continue to believe what is not true unless you choose to do so. All that can literally disappear in the twinkling of an eye because it is merely a perception. And what comes next here is my favorite part. What is seen in dreams seems to be very real. I like this because I dream like every night. I dream every night, and I often remember my dreams, and I don't know what to make of them. And sometimes I remember them, and sometimes I forget them. Okay, here we go. Ready? Yet the Bible says that a deep sleep fell upon Adam, and nowhere is there reference to his waking up. True. Absolutely true. There is no reference to Adam ever waking up. The world has not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as you continue to project or miscreate. It still remains within you, however, to extend as God extended his spirit to you in the holy breath. In reality, this is your only choice because your free will was given you for your joy in creating the perfect. Mind blown. That's huge. That is absolutely incredible, especially in alignment with what I've read recently in Isaiah, which I recorded in a previous video. And the idea in Isaiah is that there's this new heaven and new earth. And Isaiah pretty much sees this. He sees through the veil, and he talks about heaven and earth being combined. And if you wake up from your deep sleep, where will you be? When you wake up from your sleep, really think about that. Where will you be? Where can you be if you wake up in reality rather than an illusion? I just thought that was absolutely beautiful. And then section 4, it says, only after the deep sleep fell upon Adam could he experience nightmares. If light is suddenly turned on while someone is dreaming a fearful dream, he may initially interpret the light itself as part of his dream and be afraid of it. However, when he awakens, the light is correctly perceived as the release from the dream, which is then no longer accorded reality. This release does not depend on illusions. The knowledge that illuminates not only sets you free, but also shows you clearly that you are free. It's just amazing. Section 5. Man, this is amazing. Okay. Whatever lies you may believe are of no concern to the miracle, which can heal any of them with equal ease. It makes no distinction among misperceptions. Its sole concern is to distinguish between truth on one hand and error on the other. Some miracles may seem to be of greater magnitude than others, but remember the first principle in this course. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. And this is the part I underlined in this section, because this is also super, super huge. In reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. Let me pause there. Have you ever gone somewhere and just felt miffed because somebody didn't give you attention, or somebody didn't give you love, or didn't give you the respect you needed, or cut you off when you were trying to talk, or snubbed you, or was ignored you intentionally? Have you ever felt that? Let me read that last line again. In reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from yourself and from others, from yourself to others, or from others to you. Peace is an attribute in you. You cannot find it outside. Wow. When has anyone ever given you peace? It's not a thing that you can give. Now, sometimes their words or thoughts or ideas can bring you peace, and definitely we're here to walk alongside each other in this life for sure, but peace definitely is only felt on the inside. Illness is some form of external searching. Health is inner peace. I underlined that purple. It enables you to remain unshaken by lack of love from without, and capable through your acceptance of miracles of correcting the conditions proceeding from lack of love in others. Could you imagine if every human on this earth felt love on the inside adequately to solve all of their health problems? Adequate love to not need other people to complete them or to fulfill them, but actually felt confident in who God created them to be, if they believed that they were perfect. Could you imagine a world where people walked from a place within of already feeling confident and loving themselves? Could you imagine a world? What would be the opposite of that? The opposite of that would be an unloving world, an uncaring world, a warlike world, a world where people kill each other with their words and with their thoughts and negative attitudes. But if you flip that around, and if you see, it's just a choice. It's a choice of how we believe, a choice of where we come from. If you perceive that the idea is we were born perfect, that we're divinely created, that we're divine life, and we're just deposited here to live and learn, and then live every day as if we have love to give, because it doesn't run out, and it comes from within, and it comes from God, and it comes from his breath, it comes from his life. If you can imagine that, what a difference your day could be, your life could be, your experience with people around you, what a difference you can make. Not that you need to make a difference, but you could be healthy, you could experience peace, you could experience an increase of life and abundance. So, wow, what a fantastic lesson in chapter 2 here, the separation and the atonement. I'm excited that we're going to be talking more about the atonement. That's a word that I don't hear often, but I think believing in the miracle of the atonement is a really new way of perceiving life and living life, and it could heal a lot of people to actually understand it, believe it, and walk in the power that comes from that. So, wow, long video today, but I hope this blesses you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. If you've read this section, if you've pondered it, prayed about it, and what insights you've received as you've gone through. I'm excited about this day that I get to think that it never says Adam woke up. So what happens when we all wake up from our deep sleep? I'm really, really excited about that, actually, because I know what it feels like to be awoken. Sometimes I feel like that every day, like every new revelation that I'm given is a new awakening, and I'm excited about that. It gives me a lot of joy. And I'm excited to see, like, as more and more people around me wake up. It's really, really cool. It's really, really neat. So lots of love and blessings. May God bless you this day. May you feel his love, his peace, and walk in it and expand in it, and let that love just kind of explode from within and spill over to everybody else in a really lovely way. And feel free to leave me a comment or share this video if it has blessed you. And yeah, feel God today. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.